So I can't stress enough that within all of those opportunities, there is no one right path from one to one, no single entry point, and certainly no end point that is right or that is biggest or best. There are, I don't know where exactly I will end up, but you saw that I bounced between nonprofits and then back into government work and then back into nonprofits. My old boss, who started New Leaders for New Schools, went from building that organization and running it for many years to working in the government for a short time at the Federal Department of Education. He's one of the architects of Race to the Top, and then he is back now running Bluebird's philanthropy, focused on education. So really there's, I think, kind of figuring out what's right for you at the right time, and we'll talk in a little bit about how to narrow options. But I just can't stress enough that trying to find an answer to what the right point is a very, very individual question.
Right. And one question, Lindsey, that just came in is, from an entry-level perspective, is there any of these that are perhaps easier to get into at the ground floor, or is it really dependent on the situation and there's no kind of hard and fast rules?
I would say that it's such a fragmented industry that the organizations and systems operate so differently that there is not a hard and fast rule. I think different nonprofits are growing at different rates, and so depending upon, well, actually, let me answer it this way. I think depending upon what organization fits with what trend, and if it's a big trend that the big foundations are really interested in funding and excited about, those are probably the easier jobs to get at this point, and we'll talk a little bit about the trends in education in a second, but that's one place to look. And within school systems, there's a lot of churn. They're very hard jobs, and that the organizations can be really difficult, even though you're working with really wonderful people. I think there's a lot of churn, and so there are a lot of opportunities within there. So the one thing I think I would say is that being willing to go in at a lower level, at a very entry level, even if you have a huge amount of experience, is very beneficial, because I think these organizations are the one thing that is pretty universal is that they're pretty strong meritocracies. And if you are motivated and a go-getter and do good work and have impact, so then I think you'll move up pretty quickly in almost any organization that I've seen. People that are hungry for impact tend to be given as much responsibility as they're willing to take on. So, and then the other thing I'd mention is I wouldn't let being a teacher get in your way or feel like it's an impediment at this point. So just to echo what I was saying earlier, I think it's just really not required to have that credibility. I think demonstrating that you have an understanding of how important teachers are, how difficult of a job it is, and some knowledge of the classroom, if that's because you spend time volunteering in the classroom or just talking to friends who are teachers to understand their perspectives on things, and then once you're in a job, making sure that you take the time to go and see how your work is connecting to its endpoint, so to a class or to an after-school program, and spending time really seeing how it's manifesting are things you can do to build up that credibility and knowledge, because really it's just about being able to have the work that you're doing be well informed by whatever the experience